coming up next. In honor of Women's History Month, we're joined by our favorite historian to learn more.
Hi everyone, welcome back into North Dakota today. Well, it is Women's History Month, and today we're getting to know Juliette Gordon-Low, who started the Girl Scouts more than a century ago and is now featured on the newest U.S. Quarter. Here to share more about Juliette's story is celebrity historian Raffi Andonian. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. And it's so great to be talking about this here in North Dakota because North Dakota is regularly rated as one of the top 10 states in the U.S. for girls' well-being, according to the Girl Scouts Association. So that's pretty cool.
Yes, absolutely. We're so excited to have you back on the show, our favorite celebrity historian. So let's jump right into it. So tell us a little bit about Juliette Gordon-Low.
So Juliette Gordon-Low was, of course, was the founder of the Girl Scouts, as you mentioned, and what's really interesting about the fact that she was a founder is she got the idea from England. She was hanging out with the Boy Scouts founder in England, and she came back to the U.S. and said, well, why don't we do that over here and do it for girls? And in the process of doing so, that they're going to include for the girls, and that meant doing some boys activities as well, or what we're seeing as boys activities in the 19 teens we're talking about. So that meant breaking some of those norms to do things like Morse code, sending Morse code, which do with telegraphs, or doing scientific experiments, or working with aerodynamics on planes, which are a recent thing when you think about it at that point. So these are the kinds of things they were doing. And one activity that came to mind also is how about business skills and fundraising? We had the Girl Scout cookies here, right here in my hand. I got one over here as well. There's a bunch of them in there. And what's really fascinating about this is that initially these cookies were actually homemade until they got so big that obviously they're not homemade anymore, but they still develop these business and financial skills, sales skills, fundraising skills that are important for girls to have, and that were often seen previously as something that boys would do. So when Juliette Gordon-Low started the organization, she started with 18 girls, but this stuff became so popular amongst girls participating that within a decade, she had about 100,000 girls that were part of the organization. Within 25 years, it was about 500,000 membership, believe it or not. Today, that membership is at about 3 million worldwide in more than 90 countries. They give out 4 million badges a year. And cumulatively, if you add up the past century plus of membership, there are 50 million girls that have participated in the Girl Scouts, which is a tremendous impact to think about. And this is Women's History Month. How perfect that she started this month back in 1912, and how fitting that she's now on the U.S. Quarter.
Wow.
When you look over here, you can see her in the upper right, the Juliette Gordon-Low on the U.S. Quarter, circulating in your pockets. And so she's honored on the Quarter this month, coming out this month, which I think is so perfect for all the coinciding of dates for her, as well as being Women's History Month.
Oh my gosh. Well, how special. So how else has Juliette Gordon-Low been honored?
She's in the Women's Hall of Fame, which is in Seneca Falls, New York, which of course holds significance for women's history. She's also been on the U.S. postage stamp in the past. There's a ship that has been named after her as well from the United States. And in the past, in the 1980s, when President Ronald Reagan was president, he named a federal complex of buildings in Georgia, where she's originally from, after her, which is something that was uncommon, to name federal buildings after women. She was actually only the second woman for that to happen to. And then more recently, President Obama, while Low was already passed, but posthumously, President Obama gave the Presidential Medal of Freedom, which is the highest civilian honor that you can have. So there's a lot of ways she's been honored before, but I think the Quarter, for me, is the biggest, most, sustained, kind of most permanent way, because when you think about it, money is where nations honor their heroes. And once you're on money, you're kind of immortal. You're there forever. Think about people that collect money. Think about if you travel abroad, who do you see on the money? You see who they consider their national heroes. And here she is on the Quarter, on the other side of George Washington, being honored and circulating in your pockets, accessible, something you can actually handle and see to remind you of her story. Now, one more quick thing on that. One of the past quarters, this is part of a 20-quarter series that the Mint is doing over the last few years, and one of the past quarters was Dr. Sally Ride, who was the first American woman in space, who herself was a Girl Scout, and is an excellent example of the fact that the Girl Scouts encouragement of studying scientific things for girls, which was often not on the table for them, led to major achievements such as Dr. Sally Ride, who herself is on one of the other quarters, herself a Girl Scout. So the stories really interconnect. And in fact, a majority of NASA women astronauts were former Girl Scouts. It wasn't even only Dr. Sally Ride. So that's the impact that Lowe had when she established the Girl Scouts Association more than a century ago.
Well, what a special lady. I have to admit, I was a Girl Scout as well, so I was very happy when you pitched this idea to us. This is pretty important and impactful.
That is so fitting that you're a Girl Scout, because I know you're always doing so much awesome stuff in the community, and of course, well-developed all around, which is what the idea of the Girl Scouts is, to create an all-around person, spiritually, intellectually, in the community, doing physical rigor and activity. And you're a great embodiment of that, especially as Miss North Dakota. I love seeing your adventures.
Thank you so much. And you'll be happy to know we actually visited the birthplace of Juliette Gordon Lowe in Georgia, saw the historical site, and it was stunning.
I love it. That's so cool. Yeah, in Savannah. Beautiful town, beautiful city. And yes, it is a historic site that people can visit today.
Okay, absolutely. So if people want to get in touch with you, see what you're working on as a celebrity historian, how can they get in contact with you?
Okay, you can look for me at celebrityhistorian.com. I have a bunch of stuff there for different content and media I have, as well as other activities that I do. I also have beyondthepostcardtours.com, where I lead historical tours on a private basis. There's a different sets of themes there that someone can pick from to choose their tour. So these are some of the different ways that you can contact me. Now, if you're also looking for more info on the quarter itself, in addition to hunting in the wild, if you will, by looking for it as you get change, you can also go to usmint.gov, which is directly the source. The United States Mint puts out these coins, and you can find more information on the quarters and even access them there. You can buy it directly from the Mint if you want an untouched copy, as I have over here.
I was going to say, that case is beautiful. Are you a coin collector yourself?
What's that?
Are you a coin collector yourself?
I'm not a big coin collector. I like some of them. I like the ones that tie into the historical characters, the way that you see here. But I'm not collecting coins beyond that. But if it tells a historical figure's story, then yes, I have a set that I do collect, but a small collection. I'm not as major as some folks.
Absolutely. Well, how wonderful. We always appreciate you taking your time once a month to visit with us, share some education with our viewers. We truly appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And North Dakota has a rich history and story. That's why I love coming here. And as I mentioned earlier, it ties great to the Girl Scouts, because there are a lot of great women in North Dakota, as per the Girl Scouts reporting.
Absolutely. Well, thank you again, and have a great day.
Thank you.
All right, everybody at home, stick around. More North Dakota Today right after this short break.